Hello everyone, it's time to draw again. So what we'll need today is going to need a pencil, a Sharpie, some oil pastels, and today I'm using a blue paper for the background because we're going to be drawing a sailboat and the background will be kind of like a sea and the sky here. So I think it's easier if we have a blue paper, but of course you can use a white paper to begin as well. It's not a problem. We can still color in blue for the water and the sky as well. And you'll notice that when I'm drawing today, you will also see that I will also use blue for the sea and the sky, but the blue paper makes it nicer to have the sky and the water blue. Alright, let's begin. So first I like to begin with a guideline. Once we have the guideline, I like to begin with the center. The center will have a curved line going to the corner, but in a curve. So going in a curve, going more to the left and curving downward. Same thing on this side. So going more to the right and then curving downward. Alright, so it has a curve and curve here, but it's still pointy at the center here. Alright, once we have that, I will begin drawing a book. I want to be reading on a sailboat. So what I'm going to do is I will draw a book in the center here. So a little bit lower from the center, a little bit lower. I'm going to draw a straight line right in the center. And I will draw a book, kind of like a little curve coming downward to the side. Downward to the side like this, and I will draw very lightly because part of the line needs to be erased afterward, so draw lightly. Same thing on this side. It's like a mirror. 1, 2, straight line. Okay, so it's already looking like a book flip open, right? And I want my hands to be holding it, opening the book like this. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to draw, if you're holding, let's say, this paper here, you need the thumb to be on top of the paper here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the middle here, I'm going to draw a thumb. So it's just a little curved line, here. And let's do the same thing on this side, because it's symmetrical. I want to draw it before we forget how to draw that. So you see, it's going toward the middle. So you just hold out your thumb like this, and then you can check out how to draw your thumb. And then, of course, after the thumb, we will have to draw the hand parts here. So I'm going to draw a curved line here. One that comes curved downward toward the corner, right? Same thing on this side. Okay. Now remember I said we have to erase a little bit of the page, so this is the part that we have to erase behind the thumb here. Once we have that, we can take a look. Now once we have the thumb, I need to draw the bottom parts here. So the bottom parts of the hand here, from the edge of the book, I will draw a little curved line coming downward. And from the edge of the paper coming downward. Okay, now it's already looking more and more like a hand now with some imagination, because at the top here, at the top of the thumb, we need to draw the top part of the hand and finger here. So this part here, curving downward. So you see now it looks very much like a hand. Same thing on this side, so going outward and down. Now I want to draw the wrist, right? So two lines coming down. And you see how that is a little bit bigger at the bottom, a little bit skinnier at the wrist here. It's getting wider at the bottom. Same thing on this side. 1, 2. Okay, so now we have drawn a hand, two hands holding a book. Now it's not so much like a book yet, isn't it? A book is not just a piece of paper. A book has thickness to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some thickness to this book. So instead of just one page, I'm going to draw the side of the book from the corner, right? From the corner, top corner, I'm going to draw a slanted line coming inward. Same thing on this side.
Frame that's close to the exterior.
And then I'm going to draw from the slanted line. I'm going to draw downward, just beyond my finger here. Okay, and this side going downward.
So that's the two elements you need to shift.
Okay. And then from the corner again, I want to draw a curved line going to the center. And same thing on this side. From the corner, drawing a curved line toward the center. Alright, now it looks like the book has some thickness, doesn't it? Alright, so the book has some thickness to it. What about the words on there? We'll talk about the words afterward. But for now, we will be drawing some, this, like I said, is the boat here. So it's like a sailboat. What I want to do is have some railway, some fences. Okay, so from the side here, I follow the curve going back to the center line. So going like this. One. Same thing on the right side. And everything is symmetrical. So we know that symmetrical means that the left side and the right side is the same but mirrored. So that means that the left becomes the right. Okay, so like this. I'm going to draw two lines. The wheel needs some thickness to it. So two lines, double lines, like this. All right. Once we have the railways, so we need to draw some supports. So remember, two lines make one support. So 1, 2, 3, 4, one in the middle. Let's draw. Okay. So equal number. So we have 1. So we around the same distance. Around the same distance. Around the same distance. And around the same distance. Alright, so now we have this here. Good? Alright, how do we know it's a sailboat, right? We need some sails. So what I'm going to do is in the middle here, we are going to draw a big column here. Maybe the bottom of the column is somewhere behind the book here, so we don't see the base of the column, but it's right here in the middle. And how do we draw a sail? We can draw a line, big curved line, sideways. And we will draw two lines. Alright, and connect them together. Now I can draw the lines going upward. Now of course it's so big that we do not see the entire sail, right? We are just reading, but we see this right here. Alright, so this is the simple boat, and of course I like to draw the ocean, right? So the horizon. The horizon I like to, if you look at the ocean, you notice that it's a little bit curved, where the highest point is in the center here. So I'm just going to draw a big curved line right here, going behind the column here. And don't forget, we're going to use our eraser, erase some of the lines that we have drawn here. For example, the column here, all the lines inside this column, I'm going to use my eraser to erase it.
I see. Are you talking about the globe in the box that's on the arm support?
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to put a few words here. So I'm going to put the chapter here. So this chapter is on Acts. So I'm going to put A, C, E, S. Okay. And then it's going to be chapter 13, verses 13 to 52.
But at the same time,
okay, so that's the word I'm going to write here. And then I want you to think about what words you need to put on the right side here. Alright, now another thing is the deck here. The deck has some, is made of wood, right? So what we can do is we can also put some horizontal lines going behind the book, your hand, and the column. So remember, if I draw one on the left, make sure I draw in the same place. Imagine it's keep going behind the book, right? So keep going behind the hand here, keep going, and then keep going here, right? Maybe one more. Alright, so this is my simple drawing of myself reading all the books. I'm going to start tracing it now. Alright, once we have finished tracing it, I can start to erase some of the guidelines and pencil lines that I do not really need. So that's how I'll erase these ones here. Today I will be using oil pastels. If you do not have oil pastels, you can substitute it with crayon or color pencil or even markers. That is fine as well. First, I am going to color in my hands. Now with oil pastel, it's very interesting because it's very oily. Second is it really covers a lot of area, but at the same time, it also leaves a lot of holes. So let me show you. This is the first layer that I'm going to color. But after the first layer, you still see a bunch of holes here unless you color super hard. But the key is not to color really hard, but the key is actually to color it with layers. So what that means is that after the first time, I'm going to color it the second time, but I'm going to color it with a slightly darker tone. Okay, so let's say a little bit of brown. So color it very lightly because I do not really need to make the hand super dark. Just going to make it slightly darker. Now, if you do not want to make it so dark, you can also use a white instead of a brown. But the key is to put layers, right? So this is my second layer, and layer with different colors, not the same color. So you have to layer with a different color. So this second layer, now let me show you the first layer, okay? So you can see the difference. So this is the first layer.
So I love the color choice. You could develop a little bit more, especially in terms of.
And you can see with first layer, you can still see a lot of blue because of the paper, blue paper within the skin tone here. So what I'm going to do is on the third layer, I'm going to use the peach again. And I'm going to color it a little bit more. Now, with the third layer, you'll notice that when you color using a lighter color on top of a darker color, it really blends in. And I don't even have to press really hard because it builds up so many oil pastels in there already. It just blends itself in when you're doing the third layer, and you have the brown on the second layer there. And you will notice that it covers most of the blue paper now. Now, of course, if it doesn't, you can repeat the steps, or you can even use another color to go on top of it. For example, I can choose to use a pink to go on top of it. So, for example, I want to have a little bit more pinkish color in the palm. I can use a pink on the palm here. And then this is my fourth layer, and it really covers up the blue paper now. Okay. So you can see how that it blends all the colors in. All right. I'm not going to work on this hand for now. I'll show you that later. But after the hand, we can go to let's say the book here. And by the way, if you're using oil pastel like me, make sure you always put the pastels back into your container so that it doesn't make a big mess on the table. The oil pastel, a lot of times, if it doesn't have the wrapper or you took the wrappers away, it gets smudged onto your drawing. It's not very good. So I always put them back in. And I'm gonna, for the pages, I want to be using a white. So I'm gonna be using white. Another trick on or tips on oil pastel is that they get dirty very easily. So you can see that my white is really not pure white here because of mixing colors. unless you do not mind those colors going onto your drawing, which in this case I really do not mind. I don't mind the paper gets a little bit of other colors on there. But if you want it like a pure color, make sure you use a tissue to clean up those marks on your oil pastels.
You may want to crop few leaves on the frame. Okay? On the left frame or the top frame too.
Alright, so like this, I want to color the edges of the book.
So after this, let's talk about the interior drawing. Okay? Okay, see you in about 30 minutes.
Okay, so that's the edges of the book. And then I want to also color in the deck here. So you notice that I'm coloring things from closer to ourselves, which, if these are our hands, then they are part of us, then we color those first and then slowly move to the back, okay? So this is my order for coloring. So now I'm going to color in the deck. The deck would be a little bit more brownish color, right? So I'm going to be using a little bit more brownish color here. And then I'm going to use a little bit of black to do the sections of the wood plank. I know that you might not be finished coloring the deck here. Don't worry, you can continue coloring your deck. And if I'm too fast, you can always rewind and watch it again.
Rachel, did you get the access code for slide room? Okay.
And then I am going to use a slightly lighter brown. Remember, we have to use layerings. So I'm going to use a lighter brown and go on top of my deck again. And also on top of some of the black. So that it blends in a little bit better together. And once we have finished the deck, coloring the deck, we can move on to the fence. So this time I'm gonna use a gray. After I have added gray and white on the fence, I am going to color in the column here. The column, I want it to be a slightly darker brown. So instead of just using brown to begin, I will use a little bit of black first, but very lightly color over it, creating some lines. And remember, with oil pastel, it's all about layering, so that's why the black, after adding the black and then adding the brown, it will layer on top and you will blend the black into the brown very nicely. So you can see here, I don't even have to press really hard, just normally coloring it and it will blend the black in together. Alright, just like this. I do like the middle part to be slightly brighter, so I'm going to use a white in the middle of the column here. So that is showing a little bit more on the side here. And maybe I see that the brown is blending into the deck a little bit. I'm going to use the black to outline this part a little bit too. Alright, so now it's a little bit more standing out from the deck. Now I want to color in this side parts here. Same thing, same color as the column here. And for those of you who know about cross-hatching, you'll notice that this is what I'm doing here, right? So in the beginning, I was coloring it vertically, so up and down. This time I'm coloring it horizontally. So it's what we call cross-hatching. Now, just the water and the sky. So I'm going to color the sky, the water first. So the water, I'm going to be using a deeper blue. And when you're coloring the water, I do want you to color it horizontally, like this. Otherwise, the water looks like it's falling. It becomes waterfall. Alright, at this stage I want to share a little secret with you. That is, sometimes when we are coloring, we might accidentally go outside the space and go outside the shape. We don't want to. How do we fix it? Well, one way is to use a ruler and then really scrape off the part that you went outside. So you can see that. So now I scrape it off and it's all clean now. You can see the same here. The blue get into the fence here. Okay, just scrape it off. Just go along the fence, scrape off the blue. Now it's all clean again, okay? So again, this part here, one more time, scrape it off, okay? And then it's just some dust, okay? So put the dust in the garbage can and we're all good. So look at that. So now it has all clean edges. Now, of course, you know how I love adding some small little tiny details to drawings. So maybe I'm just gonna add a little fin here of a sea creature that's a surface a little bit here, and you guys can guess what creature this is. Okay, it's up to you to determine what creature this is. Just a little bit of part of the animal here that got outside of the water. All right, now lastly, the sky. So the sky here, I would like to make it very, very light blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a light blue here, and I want it to be more gradual. So yeah, in the picture here, there isn't a lot of color changing here, except for the sky here. So what I'm going to do is on the top part here, I'm going to diagonally color blue, but as I get to the bottom part, I color super lightly to no color at all. So it's just like that. Maybe a little bit here, a little bit here, and then again, blue to no color. And I know that it's a little bit difficult to see because my paper is already blue. Don't worry, so as long as you are coloring that, that's good. So I'm going to start from the top. So I'm going to be using the white that I cleaned it, and I'm going to go on top of my blue. So you notice that it's changing to a lighter blue now. But the cool thing is, because of lower parts, I don't have any blue on here, only the paper, right? But I do not have the pastel blue here, so it will not become light blue, but it will just become almost like white, as long as we don't touch the water, of course. Sometimes if we touch the water, it picks up some of the blue from the water and becomes blue as well. So I'm going to use my black color pencil, and I'm going to add a little bird here. Then there. So maybe one is a little bit too little. So I'm going to add two. So there. So here's two little birds. So it's a little bit more lively in this picture here. And there you go. So here is a picture of a sailboat of myself reading a book or a Bible on a boat here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you everyone next time. Thank you.